Okay, this video is for all my people here in Minnesota. I need you to understand that if you cannot pay your rent, you do not have to. Hey, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kane. This is Kane's Corner. Today we're talking about your rights as a renter here in Minnesota. Based on everything that's happening with COVID-19, with the coronavirus, if you are unable to pay your bills, if you're unable to pay your rent specifically, you do not have to. The government has already bailed out these rental companies, so they don't have to pay their bills, but they want your money. And that's the reason I'm talking about it today. There's this article here. They talk about this man named Howard Mostad. Howard Mostad is a landlord. Turns out this landlord shut off the power to this rental property he has. The people were unable to pay the rent. They were unable to find somewhere else to go. So not only did the landlord show up at their door saying that he wanted to be let in so he could show the property to a potential buyer, but then when the family refused, because of course they were scared because their daughter, who's 4, has pre-existing medical conditions, they didn't want to let him in. And so what he did was he responded by forcing his way into their home, and then he walked to the back through their home, potentially spreading this virus inside their home, all the way back to where the circuit breaker was in the boiler room. The reason why this is such a big deal is because this is the first time that something like this has really happened since all this started with COVID-19, with the moratoriums that are happening across the country in different states, saying that you don't have to pay rent, saying that they can't evict you. This is the first time where at the state level they've pressed charges against the landlord for doing that. And let me tell you why. So it turns out these people, The Guardian, they reached out to this motherfucker, Howard Mostad, who's 77 by the way. Hopefully he catches the corona and he fucking dies. Turns out this dude says that not only were they not behind on rent, but the reason he wanted to get him out of there was because he wants to sell it. Times are tough for him. And then in an interview, he lashed out against undocumented immigrants, refugees, and Black Lives Matter activists. Oh my gosh. And then this Howard Mostad, the 77-year-old landlord, the enemy of the story, the person that fucking did all this, goes on to say to The Guardian in an actual interview, and I quote, "What's happening with the coronavirus shutdown is a communist takeover." See, this is what I'm talking about. Also, as I'm continuing to read this article, I see more things. And they mention if you live in rural areas. Here where I live in Worthington, Minnesota, it is a rural area. We're not a big city. We're a fucking tiny village of like 10,000 people. As it says here, California has attempted to address this problem, the same problem that we're having now with the rent. They've tried creating 6-month windows in which tenants can pay back the rent, but like several other states, the moratorium allows for local discretion, which means that different cities in different parts of the state could interpret it differently, which again could potentially leave residents in suburban or rural areas without strong tenant rights organizations more vulnerable. So basically, we need to be careful here in Worthington, Minnesota, because these people have a way where they can skirt around and get to the loopholes. Stay aware. Don't pay rent. Be safe. Be careful. Stay indoors if you can. Please do not forget about those that have to be out there and the people that are going to be continuously exposed to this. Don't pay your rent if you can't. This is life or death. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I appreciate you sticking around and watching. My name has been Kane. This YouTube channel is called Kane's Corner. Please make sure you go watch my last video if you're interested in what we do around here. If you can, donate. If you can't, that's fine. Please subscribe so you don't miss another video for the foreseeable future while this pandemic takes a hold of us all. We're going down fighting. Stick around. We'll see you in the next episode.